everyone, welcome to another motovlog on my channel. My name is Marshall3498, and on today's motovlog, what I'd like to talk about, as usual on my channel, is motorcycle specific related. And that motovlog topic, I'm going to be comparing two bikes today. Again, something I kind of like to do. I like to weigh my options, and I like to look at not only what the bike's intended purpose for, but what's its pros and cons of both, and whether the pros outweigh the cons. And those two bikes I like to compare today is the 2021 and up Honda CRF 300 Rally. That's why I said the 21 and up, because I believe that was the first year they made that change from a 250 to a 300, and they made a few other small changes, but for the most part it's the motor. I know the bike, it lost a little bit of weight. The instrument cluster got updated a little bit, and so on and so on. Anyways, but I'd like to compare it and the Honda Trail 125. And you may be thinking to yourself, why in the world would you compare a 125 to a 300? And I have many reasons for that, so stick around. Sorry, I'm in a little bit of traffic here. Can't always be helped, but like I said, stick around for the duration of this video, hopefully, and I'll explain what I'm talking about. So while I compare those two bikes, it's like, for me, in my area, I live in East Tennessee, near Bristol, Tennessee, and a lot of the roads are like this. They're 45 to 50 to 55 mile speed limit, 4-lane roads, and lots of 2-lane back roads in western North Carolina, like on your way up towards Blue Ridge Parkway. A lot of those roads are 2-lane at 50 or 55 mile an hour speed limit. So, you know, obviously the Honda the 300 Rally has, you know, almost like 3 times the horsepower as the Trail 125. I like the Trail 125 for the price points, the ease of maintenance, the cheap cost of ownership and maintenance. I like the whole small bore mini moto things, but you know, I've been riding for 7 years now, and although those bikes are cool for some, I think those are a better bike for someone. In my opinion, they're a good second bike, or maybe a third, but not a good only bike. And unless you live in an area like Asheville, North Carolina, where there's lots of roads that are 35, 40, 45 mile speed limits, and lots of traffic, and because of the Trail having a centrifugal clutch, not a manual hand clutch like a traditional motorcycle, like right there, that you can pull a clutch in. But I think that's where that bike, you know, a more highly populated metropolitan area with lots of low speed limits really shines the most. And you know, yes, the Trail is probably because of the low weight and because of not having the clutch to deal with and feathering and all that, it probably makes brake really good. And I've watched a couple guys who live in Asheville area, watched a couple of their channels, that they absolute put a thrashing on, and some really hardcore, like single track or 2-track or ATV or Jeep trails, however you look at it, off-road trails, really muddy, really rough. So obviously the Trail is capable if the rider's up to the task. But you know, I just, like I said, I just think that for the area I live in and what I would use the bike for, I just think, although the Trail is cool, I just think I would get tired of the lack of power and not having that safety zone to get out of power. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the Trail, but I just think it would be a better, like I said, a better bike for an area with much lower speed limits. And you know, there's a couple guys that did a Smoky Mountain 500 on them. You know, they're light enough weight, they can do that off-road stuff really well. They're like they're not much more than a dirt bike weight-wise. They're 200 pounds, 245, I believe, something like that. I'm sure someone will correct me in the comments. It's really hard to get specs right, guys, at motovlog. You know, I know there's the keyboard warriors and the guys who love to spout specs, who've never ridden a motorcycle in their life, but you know, to each his own, whatever. I digress. So back to my point. I just don't think that, like I said, that would be a bike that I think get tired of the lack of power. You know, not saying the 300 Rally is a powerhouse, but you know, it could do 70 in a pinch on interstates with like hills and uphills for an hour. There's some guys who run it for like 500 miles in a day at the interstate, like 72 miles an hour. Some channels that I've watched on a 300 Rally pegged to the max. Is it probably fun? No. Is it going to hurt the bike? No, probably not, because it's a Honda. And you know, I just think, like, if someone were going to use it for like what I would use it for like the Smoky Mountain 500 or the Northeast BDR or even the Mid-Atlantic BDR, I really think that's where that bike kind of shines in a kind of a 70-30 more off-road situation, especially when the trail gets rougher. This lovely 2023 KTM 890 Adventure that I'm riding, I will probably not get rid of unless it gives me major problems. But I don't see that happening because you know, KTM now has been making this platform, the 790, 890 platform, for a good minute now, and I've personally seen myself of a couple guys on YouTube with this exact bike, same color and all, the base model that I'm riding, with 10,000 miles on them in less than a year and not had a single problem at all. So, like I said, you know, maybe one of these days, several years down the road, it'd be a good third bike. It would make a great commuter because, you know, the 300 Rally is 100 pounds, 120-ish pounds lighter than what I'm riding. It's like 340. This is like 460. Even though, you know, the fuel tanks are down low, it's still, you know, it still can, you know, feel a little heavy at times, I'm sure, especially compared to it. But the Honda, you know, it's not without, the 300 Rally is not without its faults either. The suspension is a pogo stick. Some people complain about it, some don't. Some ride it the way it is, some don't. It just kind of depends on, you know, do you want to put a couple $1,500 to $2,000 in suspension front and rear to fix the problem, or you just ride the bike and deal with it. You know, that's totally up to the user. It's their money, their bike, whatever. You know, plus the trail has, you know, the ability to carry more luggage. Like I said, more power. It has ABS front and rear on the ABS model. The trail only has ABS on the front. And the tire setup for the 300 Rally is, you know, the perfect tire setup size. 21 front, 18-inch rear. The rear size may be a little hard to find because the stock size is only 120, but I'm pretty sure you could put a 130 on there and be okay without much issue. I don't think you can put any bigger rear tire width-wise on it than that, but whatever. And you know, the Honda, like I said, it's a Honda. There's, you know, it doesn't have cruise control, it doesn't have fancy this and that, but it does have off-road ABS that you can turn off in the rear. And you know, you drop a bike that's that much lighter, especially riding by yourself, much easier to pick up than something like this, especially when, you know, loaded up for a trip, whether you're hoteling it or not, or camping with, you know, 60 pounds of gear and tools and everything else on the bike. I just think, you know, is that bike, you know, your kind of unicorn, like, you know, your Mid-Atlantic back discovery like bike that you could still ride to work and still have fun on back roads, but maybe do an hour or two in interstate if you had to, maybe. You know, there is, you know, a little bit of power left on that bike to get a little bit more out of it. You know, you could put a full exhaust on it. Some people said the Grave exhaust. Dorkin Road said that it supposedly gave the bike 15% more power. You could do that, ECU and an airbox mod, you know, probably squeeze another 5 horsepower out of it, give or take. And, you know, then you're talking already, it's like the same power, just about, at least the horsepower anyway, of the Royal Enfield Himalayan 4-on-1. You know, and it's like 100 pounds lighter than the Royal Enfield Himalayan 4-on-1. So, you know, but that's about all I got for today's motovlog, guys. If you're not already done so, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. And ride safe and have fun. We'll see you on the next one. See ya.